In this episode, we are going to look at Oburu's interview on NTV. Oburu's interview on NTV, which was there yesterday. Looking at him, he comes out as a sober mind. Yes, you heard me correct. I said a sober mind. I did not say a sober man. He comes out as a sober mind. He comes out as a person who consults a lot. He consults a lot, and my feeling is that just like his brother, when he's consulting, the advice you give him usually affects his decision. What I'm trying to say is that among the two brothers, I get the impression that they do not dictate their condition. But as we will see, a lot of people, when they consult Raila, when they consulted Raila, they consulted him. In most cases, they used to believe that he knew everything. So they left everything for him to decide. Usually, they used to give him a position of what things are, and they would let him decide. But as for Oburu, there is a lot more of telling him what you want, and even trying to influence his decision. I'm not saying that Raila used to impose his own or decisions or whatever, but I'm trying to say that those who used to report to Raila used to believe that Raila was all-knowing, all-wise, and whatever. So it was up to Raila to make a decision. If you remember, Raila used to consult a lot, and if you remember, his press secretary saying that between the time of the press, remember his press secretary saying that between the time the press secretary invites the press to the time of the press conference, Raila has consulted a lot of people. Is Dennis Onyango said that circumstances of the press conference can be altered between that very same time. I even remember Dennis Onyango saying that if Raila was to be jailed again, what he would miss a lot would be his mobile phone, because he's always on it and talking and whatever. So Raila used to consult a lot, only that those whom he consulted believed that he was subhuman, such that he knew everything. You just needed to tell him the problem and he solves. But what I form the opinion that Oburu listens. And Oburu reminds me of my former boss, Mr. Christopher Malukilati. There's a problem, he knows. He even knows the answers. But he consults in such a way that you own the answer. You come up with a problem, he challenges you and say, and what would you have solved? And then when you say, I would have done this and that, and then they say, so be it. But in reality, that is, most of the answers we have in the world are straightforward, except for a few occasions where people just want to create, like we will see in this recording, where people just come up with stories and they want to create scenes and whatever, and they know the truth. They just do it so as to be important, whatever. But in many cases, if there is a problem, head teachers know that. You call a staff meeting, you discuss. You'll find that if the problems are presented and you are the boss and say, okay, this is how it's going to be done, some people may even try to counter it just to be seen with other motives. Let me just say that. But if you tell your staff, okay, this is the problem, how do you think, if you are the head teacher, what would you have done and whatever? And when they decide, you'll find that in many cases, in most cases, uh, they have just come to the same conclusion that you had come. But the only difference is this time, they believe that it is the idea. So yeah, that is the impression I get about Oburu. Both the two brothers consult. Uh, both the two brothers want your input. They give you time to give an input. But I suspect those people that Raila consulted usually expected Raila to have all the answers. But when it comes to Dr. Oburu, I'll not be shocked that he runs his affairs by consultation. I may not blame Raila, I may blame people who are around him, because they never, they gave little or no input. They expected him to have all the solutions. As for Oburu, he listens to both sides. He then comes up with a middle ground. Which is agreeable to this side. You can surrender a few things, then he comes up with something that is agreeable to both sides. This is quite encouraging, even though I doubt whether this will keep people like Sifuna and Babu Owino in the fold. Yes, Owino and Sifuna wanted to bolt out even before Raila died, but his death gives them an opportunity and an excuse to bolt. On the question of where and how Raila died, Oburu has answered that one very clearly. I don't know why people like Leto and Sifuna deliberately wanted or still wants to make capital out of it. Anyone wanting to know why he went to India and his last minutes, etc., etc., just replay the video on the relevant part. Oburu comes out very clearly. But replaying is a bit of a challenge because it is a long video and the story is best summarized here. I'll try to summarize for you. But if you have time and if you want for clarification, please watch Dr. Oburu's interview on NTV. He says that Raila had a clock, a blood clock, on the upper right side of his head. Consultations were made widely, including President Ruto. Consultations were made widely, including President Ruto. Ultimately, it was agreed that he be treated in a hospital in Bombay. Bombay nowadays is called Mumbai. The clock was successfully removed and he was discharged from the hospital. Now it was the time for his recuperating. As he was recuperating and he was in India, he decided to fly south. He then flew to another hospital to the south of India. For Kenyans, kindly understand that it is like being transferred from Aga Khan Hospital, not even Aga Khan, yeah. Okay, it is like being transferred from Aga Khan Hospital and taken to Makini Herbal Clinic. India has a population more than the population in the African continent. Apart from Goans, Indians mostly are vegetarians. So this hospital deals with vegetables, herbs, and whatever. Raila had several other issues that are there with a lot of people. Lucky for me, I don't have them. hypertension, blood pressure, such things. So the blood clot was treated in an ordinary hospital and it was successful. That is why you hear everybody saying, before Raila died, that is why you hear everybody saying, I talked to Raila and he is improving. I talked to Raila and he's improving. That is, he had gone to India to an ordinary hospital for a blood clot and he was operated on. But you see, an operation is not like switching on a light on and off. No. An operation, you have a time to recuperate. Kizungu ni ngumu kidogo. So during that time, Raila felt that he should travel south to another hospital that we can call Makini Herbal Clinic ya India. That explains why in the video on social media you can see him walking very weak. It was because he had yet to recover from the operation in the ordinary hospital. Now he was in this Makini Herbal Clinic when he was going around. You remember the daughter was saying that after the operation, the first day he went around the hospital once. The second day he went around the Makini Herbal Clinic twice. The third day he went around Makini Herbal Clinic thrice until he reached even the fifth time. He was recovering, while also addressing the issue of high blood pressure, what do you call those things? Sugar level, vitu kama hizo, kizungu mingi hapo. That is when he had a heart attack and was rushed to a normal hospital. That's just like being taken from Makini and then you are rushed to the nearest MP Shah. You are rushed to MP Shah because of that Makini just deals with diet and usage of what do you call, addressing the issue of high blood pressure and so on. So heart attack had to be taken to. That is where you now see the what do you call, the ambulances and whatever. I also didn't understand why he was taken from one hospital to another hospital, but then we now understand that he was taken from Makini Harbour to MP Shah, something like that. I'm talking of a local example so that we understand. And then Oburu explains about the coffins. He explains about the coffin. He says in the NTV interview that India is a country that cremates the people. So issues of coffins and whatever are rare, and those coffins are of a low quality. Because in India, you just die the next time you are cremated. So these people, when he died, he was just placed in the next available coffin, which was cheap and whatever. There is a lot of medication that is done on a dead body that was not even done to him in India, because India is so much used to cremation that some of these things they didn't do it. He explains that they carried him in whatever coffin that was provided, but had a better coffin ready in Nairobi. He explains the tension in Kasarani. First, he says that at JKIA, they were overwhelmed. Of course, they knew Raila had a lot of a lot of supporters. Of course, they knew a lot of people would come there, and they even estimated and doubled or even tripled the number of the estimates. Like for example, they expect 1,000 people, so they say, okay, we expect 3,000, and then they make arrangements for 10,000, which is maybe 10 times what they in their heart knew would be. But then still, people were more. Remember, such emotions for people of my age. Kenyatta died when I was in Form 3. Moi died recently, all of us know about it. Kibaki died. In Kenya, we have never had such emotions for a single person dying. So anybody doing any the estimation and whatever could not have estimated that such a crowd would come. He further explains that in the stadium, people had to be delayed because the body had to be treated. You see, the body was hastily removed from India. The body was hastily removed from India, and the treatment and whatever had to be done at Lee funeral. But since roads were blocked everywhere and whatever, the body could not be taken to Lee funeral. It was taken straight to the stadium. So the Lee funeral people had to go to the stadium and do what they were supposed to do at Lee funeral. So it delayed. And at Kasarani, imagine, there were more people, 100 or even 1,000 times more than what was expected. The body had arrived late. And even after the body arrived late because of the delay from moving from the plane to Kasarani, people were many. The body had arrived late. But the body was to be viewed after it had been, prepared, had been prepared by people from Lee funeral. So that is why the tension was there. If you want to watch my videos uploaded during the same period, you will see how close I was to the truth. If you see the videos that I uploaded at that time when those things were happening, and then compare to what Dr. OBURU said yesterday in the NTV interview, you will just find that I was very, very much close. So close that somebody can even now start asking, or maybe you have connection there. I want to share with my audience the anger I get when some people write in the comment section of my videos, why are you covering up? Yet Sifuna and Leto went to India and back. Yes, when Raila died, there was a quick decision on who to go and whom not to go. I'm telling you, even if 500,000 people would have been going, I don't think I would have been there. But I can tell you, among the 10 or even 20 first names which were suggested, Sifuna was among them. Sifuna is a senior counsel. Were it not true, Sifuna has stayed for so long working for political party. First of all, he was called and he started working for CORD. Then from there, he was made the Secretary General of ODM, and he has stayed there for long. Had it not been for that, Sifuna would have even contested and won the presidency of Law Society of Kenya. Sifuna is a bright legal law and is also a politician. But I don't know why he sees political capital is more important than the country burning down. People would have understood if I would have reasoned the way he is reasoning, and if he would have reasoned the way I'm reasoning. But because he has a political transaction that can be well advanced if he does what he's doing. Mine is based purely on my training as a VIP protection expert. I have no connection with any of those people up to now. Maybe in future they may consult me. But up to the time of recording this, I have no connection with them. It is just that I look at a situation and reason that it must have been this way and this way and this way, and I tell people, yes, I rush to upload it because If I were to speak of the same things right now, people would say, Kenya tunajua, everybody, kitu ikitendeka kila mtu anasemaga anajua. But if you see, I uploaded it while things were still raw and when I had no connection. And then it comes out that I almost hit the bull's eye. Then mine, as I said, is was purely talking on a professional view. After handling VIP protection and whatever, and then I come up with that suggestion, and I thank God that it came to be very near the truth. We also have to remember that Ruto participated wholly in the process. According to Ruto, he left before a final decision was made, because he told Raila that you can make whatever decision you want to make. Do you want to go abroad? And if you want to go abroad, which country do you want to go? Or do you want to be treated locally? Whatever. If you decide even to go to Pluto, the government will fully finance your everything. And then he left that. Of course, let us be sincere that there is an element that Ruto was making political capital of the sickness and even later the death. Let me tell you one thing. Come 2027, you go around Homa Bay, Migori, Kisumu, and Siaya. Just go around and campaign against Ruto. Yule jamaa alipatia Wagwambo mazishi ya president. Yule so that is why I'm saying, of course, Ruto was making political capital of the sickness and later the death. But then at the end of the day, if it has assisted, that is okay. Is it not better political capital than what Sifuna is doing? Anyway, that is according to me. In absence of more evidence, it should be taken that Sifuna wants to make political capital out of it. It is unfortunate for the two, that is Leto and Sifuna, to go all the way to India and be the source of disinformation. Imagine, how many Kenyans are there? 50 million. But it was decided that these two be among the people to go there. Let me say this thing, sincerely speaking. From where I am, I don't know which forest this is. From this forest, let us say this thing. They went to India. Me, I'm here. By the way, the truth of the matter is that since Raila died, I've not even stepped the CBD of Nairobi, leave alone now going to the airport. Now, these are the people who went to India. When they went to India, Oburu has just told us about the tradition and culture of the Indians, how they handle the dead body. So theirs was just to place in the body, and imagine from Raila is dead, the body is being taken to, you remember 72 hours? Before medicine came, people used to be buried within 72 hours. The body is still fresh. So within those 72 hours, they had, within those 24 hours, they had to be taken from India all the way to Lee Funeral Home. Now, according to Indians, it was just a matter of place the body in a coffin, take it away, whatever. It had to take the intervention of Prime Cabinet Secretary, who is also the Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs, to use his office to tell them that in Kenya, you cannot transport a body without opening the casket. And so a few people are allowed to view that. You see, I come from two traditions, and I've told you how it happened when two cultures collide, there is give and take. So yes, Indians wanted the body to be. There's even a story that postmortem was done in Kenya. So you find that Indians want that body to get out as quick as possible. They want it out. Now they want it. The people who come, they take the box, they place it in the plane, they go away. But then Kenyans insist that no, 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 no. In Kenyan tradition, we have to open the box. Now, apart from believing that they are very important, that they have to be the ones to view the body. Now that they didn't view the body, so they say we are not even sure. And and funny, Sifuna is still going on saying that he's not even sure if Raila died in Kenya or in India. Sifuna of all the people. But then in India, they were only, in fact, it was a pull and push to have even a few people open the casket and see it. And then they brought it in Kenya. It is only that people were genuinely, sincerely speaking, I can tell you, the people were genuinely concerned. People were genuinely concerned that they saw two different caskets. They saw the one from the airport, and I even tried to explain that. Those are the points that I'm saying that when Oburu cleared yesterday, he has vilified me by saying that about the two coffins. So I'm really bitter with first of all the two what do you call Leto and Sifuna, whereby they see a funeral as a place where they have to feel important. I'm also unhappy with the Kenyans who went to my comment section on those videos, who are saying, who are you? You have been bought by Ruto. You want to cover up for Raila's killing and whatever. It hurts. I know people tell me there are those people and whatever, but you see, in my chest cavity there is a heart, and that heart has feelings. We have a lot of people, when somebody dies, they create scenes and whatever, which is unfortunate. In fact, it includes where some people were asking why Mama Ida did not escort her husband to India. Really? Really? Let me say one thing before I comment on that. The question is, was Raila killed or not? Evidence has come that he was not killed. So we leave everything else. We leave everything else. If there was an iota of suspicion that Raila was killed, then we could go on so many things. Oh, there is somebody, the principal of Bungoma High School, Dr. Ndanje. When he died, I saw it on social media among lawyers. I was saying at his wife, when his wife was told that he has died, instead of going to where he has died, she went to and opened her shop. Later on, it came out that Ndanje had two wives, left behind two widows. Now, we don't know which widow they were. You know, people just throw stories and whatever. They do not care about repercussions or whatever. And the hurting thing is that when the truth comes and you confront them and you want to discuss with them about the truth as it is now, huyo si mazishi yake tulimaliza na hiyo maneno tulisonga mbele. If you know you are that type, then the next funeral you should not comment anything. Just to close your eyes and ear for the 2 weeks, then you move on. This thing about funeral prefects is very common among Luhya, Luos, and other Western tribes. But mostly about Luos. I'm not Luos. Sorry to my Luo viewers. This is mostly to the Luhya people, and not Luhya from Vihiga. Not, you remember during the campaign ya Malava by election, Khalwale is campaigning for Panyako. Khalwale is a doctor, Panyako is a nurse. And they're talking of, oh, uliona matanga ya fulani. Did you see so and so coming for that funeral? And they're in the medical. So that thing is very common, 80% among Luya. 20% is among Luos and other tribes. If you remember my video on Tereburo, an engineer had died and his relatives were asking the widow why she took him to Mata Hospital. Said that engineer was a very important person who should have been taken to Nairobi Hospital. There is a YouTube video about Chichi Wamalwa lacking fees and times could not even afford meals. This is the baby. She was a baby when her father died, whom crowds used to cause mayhem, demanding that the procession of her father be stopped so that she be seen. You see, these are the people who, after burial, you can even ask him, Wamalwa kijana, and say, Wamalwa, is there anybody who... It is as a result of this that I am studying what people call private funeral services. This is why, as a result, I'm consulting people who do things that are called private funeral services. So far, I just know that from church, over 90%, or from the church or the school field or whatever, 90% of the people are just told that they cannot go to the burial site, which is reserved for the few dedicated people, for the few selected people. Why concentrate on the burial and forget the decades before and decades after that? You find, especially Luyas, sasa wewe na ukikufa watu wakikuja kwenyu, sincerely, if I die, those who are coming to my funeral are coming to bury me. Ati unajua wakiangalia pali sijui nini. So that is what I had a lot, actually it's a lot, I had to say about Oburu. Oburu came out very clearly. You can see I've spent more than half an hour explaining what he did, and yet I have just scratched the surface. I've just covered the topics that are important, but he comes out as a good fellow. I also think that maybe ODM should confirm him. Maybe they should confirm him as the chair, or as the leader, and he continues that way. I've seen on social media people are saying that Oburu said, I can't remember that time because I was following it on YouTube, and where I stayed there was a lot of blackouts, and there was the time when the electricity comes back, I had to go back and whatever. I don't remember Oburu saying that ODM wants vice president, but what I know is that most likely there will be a coalition with Ruto, and I've even said that I've even uploaded that thing. If you can see a video on what do you call Gladys Wanga, if you see my video on Gladys Wanga, some people are interpreting that Oburu said that for them to support Ruto, they have to get a vice president or deputy president, whatever. I don't remember seeing that. Maybe he said, maybe he didn't, because you remember I've just said we had blackouts and whatever. And then when the power comes back, you try to remember where you left, and so on and so forth. I don't think, but I know that is the intention, and that is why uh, Oburu was talking on Sunday, and I had uploaded 6 hours before Oburu was aired on TV. I had uploaded a video on Gladys Wanga, on which I had explained the very same thing, where I was saying that in brief, because if you want to know much, you can still watch it. In brief, I was saying a possibility of Kindiki being asked to step down, and then allow for ODM to provide a running mate. And I said that the person whom I suspect very well who could replace Kindiki was Gladys Wanga. And I even talked of the repercussion, because if you remove Kindiki, then Mrima sees that somebody, let's say another coalition comes where either the running mate or the presidential candidate is from Mrima, there is that repercussion, which I said. But you see, Ruto is a political activist. So I'm sure he's looking at all those things, so that should Kindiki be asked to step down for Gladys Wanga, uh, already Ruto knows what will happen and whatever. He's not like a Kibaki. And you see, Ruto is like a Raila. All the politics 25 hours a day. So that is most of the thing. And I really liked the interview, because most of the things he was confirming what I had uploaded and what I had suspected. All in all, he comes out as a good leader whom Kenya can gain from.